Hey plant gang, this tree above me, a little bit of an oddity, Firmiana simplex, the Chinese parasol tree. Now this really is not on my plant list, one that I would recommend people plant, because I do see this seed around and become a little bit of an invasive problem for us in zone 6B, 7A, where I'm located. Maybe other people have different experiences depending on where they're at in the country or the region, but definitely an interesting plant. Big bold leaves, a lot of the stems are green, a lot of chlorophyll in this plant, grows quite quickly, but makes an interesting plant in the landscape, and one that people will see around. Tall, big, bold, beautiful in some ways, and a plant you should know because you're going to see it, and the leaves are quite unique. So Firmiana simplex, the Chinese parasol tree, let's talk about ID characteristics. Well, a big, bold, almost trident-like leaf that, umbrella, you can see because the leaves are so large. Here is where the flowers were in the spring. This is quite an interesting structure on the plant. And the flowers cascade out of this. They're kind of a creamy white with a little bit of an orange center to them. Not a plant where you probably see from at a distance and have to see it because the bloom is so beautiful. Just kind of a bloom that is kind of average for a spring flowering tree. But this plant's very interesting. Chlorophyll green stems, which adds to the chlorophyll of this plant. Alternate leaf arrangement, but as you get closer to the apex of each stem, they're going to look a little bit more opposite, so be aware of that. This has got a little bit of a pubescence to it, this where the seed capsules is, and you see the fruit that's in here that can lead to a little bit of that invasive nature like I talked about. This plant seeding itself around, and so I'm going to dispose of this. So a plant that can be used in a variety of situations, maybe one just to know and not necessarily to plant. I don't think I've ever seen this plant really for sale, but one that you see in older city parks, ones that you see on campuses like the University of Tennessee, but a plant that we're going to learn and we're going to know. Again, Firmiana simplex, the Chinese parasol tree. The native range of this is eastern China, Japan, Taiwan, parts of Vietnam as well. Hardy from zone 7 through 9, maybe you probably get away with this in zone 6B as well. 45 foot high, spreading out 30 foot wide. The bloom is late spring to early summer is when you'll see this plant. It could be used as a street tree potentially, maybe in an urban situation where you're not as worried about it being invasive. Here's a landscape tip. Has potential as a street tree. Large, bold leaves can cause litter issues in the landscape.